last one. Last SCP to read. Justified badge. Oh god, I see all these. Hopefully it's not too long. Because I am... I am feeling the exhaustion hitting me. But... let's read this, and then we do the whole list of SCPs that we read and how much I enjoyed them. The enjoyment list. And then we end the stream. Again, thank you so much, Honeybun, for the raid. I really do appreciate it. SCP-1339 is to be kept in a safe at Site 56 and may only be accessed with permission from Dr. Robert Williams. Testing has been suspended until further notice. SCP-1339 is a police badge with no markings of a police department or rank. No badge similar to SCP-1339 has been found as of the 2003 first. The badge's abnormal qualities are only apparent when worn. Yeah, of course. It's a badge. It would be kind of weird if the badge had abnormal abilities when it's just on the floor. Although there's probably a couple of SCPs that just do that. When SCP-1339 is fastened to the clothing of a human being, other species may be affected by SCP-1339. See test log. Henceforth referred to as a subject, they will be convinced that any actions they observe or commit are entirely justified and valid. See Addendum 1. Oh, great. Gonna look and listen while I self-care, by the way. Also, you have a really nice voice. Thank you. If you can, for the lurking, can you do a exclamation mark lurk? That should activate a command. There you go. Afro's with you. Thank you so much. You take care of yourself, okay there? You take care of yourself. The self-care you gotta make it good. Gotta make sure that self-care is nice and good. Maybe make sure you get yourself a pedicure, manicure, massage. Maybe it's visit to the spa and the sauna or the hot tub. I don't know. You guys just do it for your own physical good. Where was I? Oh yeah, justified and valid. I was about to say, sounds like a Karen. They always think whatever they do is justified and valid. When asked about events, the subject will always rationalize and defend the action. Assessments of motor skills, problem solving, and cognitive abilities have all proven that SCP-1339 does not impair mental facilities. Foundation psychologists and speech pathologists have noticed that the speaking patterns of SCP-1339 subjects resemble those of psycho and sociopaths. Oh, doesn't that sound more like what I just said before? Once SCP-1339 is removed from the subject, or he or she will immediately feel large amounts of guilt and depression, even if they committed no morally or ethically wrong actions while wearing it. Attempts at therapy have worked along the same lines as others with depression or guilt, with therapists noting that patients are much more resistant to both antidepressant and traditional psychiatry. Amnestics have proven useful in removing memories of the digression, though feelings of guilt are still reported by subjects. Oh god, so even with amnestics you still... So you can't take away the memory of the thing, but they still be like, I just don't feel good, man. I just feel like I did something wrong. There's nothing you can do. In the majority of cases where treatment is not received, the subject will commit suicide. Oh. Yeah, that's what I kind of expected to happen with this one. On several occasions, the subject has confessed to unknown crimes in suicide notes. Despite the possibility of reopening cold cases or finding missing persons, it has been decided that testing is to be suspended until further notice. Also, it would be kind of weird to go to court and be like this. Well, a guy just confessed to some more crimes that they committed. It's like, oh, okay, what made them confess? Well, you see, we have this thing that they wear that made them just really, really a dickhead. But once they took it off, they were nice, but like they felt bad, and I mean they felt bad. So what I'm trying to say is he feels bad for what he did. the subject has been exposed to, in some cases, performed murder, mass murder, torture, forced starvation, and non-medical amputation without incident, and upon questioning would claim all of the above actions perfectly reasonable and right. So yeah, like, especially D-class who are criminals, they're like, yeah, no, this. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not okay to kill that person? I think that there was a valid reason. They stole my ice cream. I hated that. Show interview 1. Okay, here we go. D345781. Subject using SCP-1339. Dr. Torres interviewing D345781. Forward. D345781 had been wearing SCP-1339 for several days, during which he had personally seen the death of Agent Lawson, the termination of several D-Class personnel, as well as a violent escape attempt by SCP. What kind of voice should we give him? How are you feeling, D345781? I'm good. You? Fine. Now, how do you feel about what you've seen here at the Foundation? I know some of your colleagues were disturbed. Slightly. I said I'm good. I understand why people need to do these things. You feel no guilt over your involvement? Those things need to be done. Why do you believe that exactly? Those people were unnecessary. They did their jobs and then died. They complained too much. Anyhow, especially, he didn't stop until they were expunged. At least that made him quiet. Closing statement. D345781 had SCP-1339 removed shortly after this interview. Subject began sobbing and collapsed into a catatonic state. Before collapsing, he yelled incoherently for several minutes at researchers and doctors, repeatedly swearing at them. D345781 was returned to his cell, and my eye has something in it. I can feel it. I can sense it. And remained in his bed for a majority of a week. Following 1 week, he was found dead in his cell of self-inflicted stab wounds. A crude shank made of a toothbrush was determined to be the suicide weapon. A note which was found in the cell contained a detailed confession to 3 crimes: the robbery of a convenience store in Columbus, Ohio in 1932, the murder of a woman in Ithaca, New York in 2003, and a physical attack on a man in Mesopotamia in 4750 BC. The crimes are currently being researched by Foundation historians. Okay, listen, first of all, when you said that he would confess to a bunch of crimes, I thought you meant crimes that he done, like they done, not random crimes that happened during the history of mankind. Can you imagine? That happens in court. The judge is like, do you confess to any crimes? Like, yeah, I did a crime in Mesopotamia in the 4000 BCs. It's like, are you high? Like, it's like nobody's gonna trust that. But okay, so it looks like he's just confessing to crimes that potentially happened. Showing test log 1. Test log 1 power key, duration 30 seconds, actions none. Results: power key remains still, and researchers noted nothing out of the ordinary. Following this test, it is believed that non-primate animals are not influenced by SCP-1339. One common chimpanzee, troglodytes, 24 hours, subject was observed eating, climbing trees, and harassing other chimps. Oh, he is being a full-on asshole now, isn't he? After removal of SCP-1339, the chimp appeared to experience depression similar to that of wild animals who were currently captured, though the subject was born and raised in captivity. After several weeks, the subject was observed to be acting normally. Okay. But because it doesn't really understand the idea of suicide, which was good. Can you imagine if animals did? That would be very dark times. Just like some random animal would be like, well, I just want to die. And then you look at it, it's like, what the hell's happening? Why is my cat repeatedly jumping off the highest possible roof they can find and not even preventing itself from falling down there. Subject D38546, 30 seconds. None. D38546 remained standing in front of researchers while wearing SCP-1339, but experienced heavy depression upon removal. While in therapy, subject confessed to feelings of guilt over the death of a childhood pet, an incident found to be true by contacting family of D38546. The beating and killing of a homeless man in 1905, 82 years before the birth of the subject, and several Foundation projects including Data Expunged. D38546 was given a Class A amnesty and immediately was terminated on schedule. I am losing my reading abilities because I'm so tired. Note, yes, SCP-1339 has helped local authorities in some cases. However, we cannot waste resources on giving psychotherapy and pills to the subjects. And showing up at the sheriff's door with a list of unsolved murders and missing persons from decades ago is not exactly the most subtle thing the Foundation has ever done. That's exactly what I said before. Like, it would be weird to go into court with yeah, this guy confessed to a crime that he apparently did in thousands of years ago. Testing is suspended from now on unless approved and supervised by the senior staff, Dr. Easton. And we have one more testing log. Looks like somebody tried to sneak in a little extra one. New testing has been authorized temporarily by Dr. Kjorst of Site 56 for the express purpose of determining if subjects using SCP-1339 are valid for use as Foundation personnel. Due to the lack of guilt or remorse while wearing SCP-1339, users have been speculated to be superior to regular personnel in dealing with more morally questionable actions performed by the Foundation. More questionable actions, you say? Like what? Subject D84766, 2 months. D84766 was given private quarters for the duration of the experiment, the only notable features of which was a standard 24-inch monitor, which was built into the wall for the express purpose of the experiment. Following the attachment of SCP-1339, D84766 was led to the room and locked inside. Meals were delivered by the staff 3 times a day. During the day between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m., GMT, okay, the monitor broadcasts a live feed of Foundation activities declared to be the most morally questionable by person. Staff delivering meals were given the ability to request that the feed be muted or turned off while they visited the quarters. Following 2 months of exposure, D84766 was brought out of her quarters and given a psychiatric evaluation by Dr. Sampson, who declared that D84766 was mentally healthy. Are you sure about that, though? Are you sure about that? I'm just saying. SCPs have the tendency of being very stubborn sometimes. D84766 had SCP-1339 removed after evaluation. The subject entered a catatonic state upon removal and began screaming incoherently. Okay, so I understand now why they were like, hey, can we just mute them while we give them food? Because they just keep sassing us. It's getting unbearable. Nearby staff reported that the subject attempted to remove her own ears and eyes before being restrained by security. After being given a sedative, D84766 was returned to her quarters where she refused to speak to personnel for 13 weeks. Ooh, that's damn. Attempts at administering therapy failed due to the subject's lack of response. On the 9th 3rd, 2005, visiting staff reported that the subject was laying face down on the floor. Medical staff discovered that D84766 was unconscious and she was shortly thereafter transferred to a medical ward. After 5 hours in the medical ward, the subject regained consciousness. Probably didn't want to. Probably was like, please, just let me die. I just want to perish. So bad. While in the medical ward, the subject was responsive to the interview by Dr. Sampson. See interview 2. Following the interview, the subject stabbed herself 13 times in the chest, neck, and face with an empty syringe. Ow. Death was caused by piercing of the subject's jugular. No note was found on the scene, but Dr. Sampson did produce a paper of the subject gave to him during the interview. Okay, here we go. Interview 2. D84766, subject of SCP-1339 experimentation. Dr. Sampson, interviewing subject. What kind of voice shall we give him this time? How are you feeling? D84766. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, all of it. Sorry. For what? You know, I know what I did. Ma'am, you did not leave your quarters once during your wearing of SCP-133. Don't. No, I can't. I was wrong. Wrong. But I was right. It's all right. But it's all wrong. Right and 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 then she's fucking... It's time to give myself some adrenaline. Closing statement. Following the end of the log, D84766 subject threw a piece of paper at Dr. Sampson. The D84766 then grabbed a syringe and committed suicide as outlined above. Dr. Sampson immediately handed the note over to the Foundation authorities. The note reads as follows. Topeka, Kansas, 1881, murder, mine. Beijing, China, 1892, 1921, excuse me, Jesus, what did I just say? Burglary, mine. Site 56, 2005, redacted, all mine. The note continues for several paragraphs like this, naming locations, dates, and crimes, and naming the subject as the perpetrator. The paper ends abruptly, indicating a date that has not yet occurred and naming a yet unknown individual. Attempts to find this individual has been unsuccessful. Subject Dr. Tamlin. Duration 5 weeks. Actions. Dr. Tamlin performed his usual duties as administrator, among them improving testing and overseeing experiments. During the time SCP-1339 was warned, Dr. Tamlin approved all applications for experimentation given to him, eventually reaching the point of obviously humorous or false application being approved, among them requests to set Keter class SCP free and petition to promote violent D-class personnel to O5. All approved applications were later vetoed by staff. Results: Dr. Tamlin was deemed psychologically healthy following removal, though his wife and colleagues reported that he was notably less sociable. After 2 weeks, Dr. Tamlin failed to report to work, and agents were sent to his house to investigate. Once the Agent Jones and Agent Howard discovered the bodies of Dr. Tamlin and his wife, no, come on. Victims of an apparent murder-suicide. God damn it. Well, of course, he decided to take her with him. Damn. Both died of multiple stab wounds Dr. Tamlin self-inflicted, and no was discovered near his body, in which he confessed guilt to multiple crimes, including the murder of his wife. Note, that is it. That is it. This thing makes you able to handle some of what we do for a little while, but we can't have everybody involved with a messy accident wind up killing themselves or others. All testing is ended. SCP-1339 is to be left in a locked storage area at Site 56 permanently. May those poor fuckers rest in peace, if they can, Dr. Kiost. And we are done with the reading. Now, here is the list. So. The hitchhiker is on top, just because of like how like it's a very simple concept, right? You have this ghostly hitchhiker that just wants you to. That is basically just an escort mission. It wants you to lead to a place that has an emotional meaning to her, and then you get an item that you have to bring to her parents. And you just have to do that occasionally, every like 19th of the month. You just have to do that. But then one guy was an idiot and was like, how about we destroy the place that she always goes to? That way she will stop coming to that place. He's dead now. And now she looks even more fucked up than just being an apparition. She actually has all the stab wounds and eye missing and all that stuff, and the heart's missing and like everything. So like that twist, the fact that she like became a lot more like a darker version of herself, basically a much more messed up version of herself, is like because of one guy who was like, if I do this big brain move, I'll get promoted, which he didn't. He didn't get promoted. He failed. He got demoted actually. So yeah, it's well deserved. Mouth soap. Okay, I just love the idea of. So we all saw in cartoons, and maybe some people even lived through this, where when you cursed, the parents would be like, "Oh, give me your mouth. I'm gonna wash it with soap." And thus we see why it's secure, contain, protect, not destroy, neutralize, eliminate. Right? Exactly. Because sometimes, I mean, there's probably a couple SCPs that neutralizing them would be a good idea. Like Shy Guy and the statue and How to Kill Reptile, for example, but they can't because they don't know how to. But yeah, with the hitchhiker, it's like I even said throughout that one, I was like, hey, the fact that you want to go to one location all this time, once a month, that's all you need to do, and then you get an item and you just take it with you. That thing is the only thing that is a controlled variable of this whole thing, right? It's the only controlled variable of this routine. So that guy just being like, what if we just destroy the thing that gives us some sort of like, control over the situation? I was like, what are you? You are an absolute idiot. You're a wretched little cretin. You absolute monstrosity. But yeah, but the mouth soap, I just love that it's the same concept as like, if you swear, you go and get your mouth wash with soap, but this time if you lick this, or you have the soap in your mouth first and you try to swear, it just gets bleeped out. It's literally just like, oh, go it's just like that. It's like, what did that beep come from? But of course, the longer you have the soap in your mouth, the more risky it is, because you might actually lose the ability to speak overall. Because then like it's just beeps and boops coming out of your mouth. Child of Trees. I just really, it's always nice to have a wholesome SCP, and you can always see how the Foundation sometimes just fucked themselves up. Because like this SCP was like, oh, I'll gladly talk to you. I'll gladly tell you about my species and how we handle things, and I would gladly heal you with the herbs I have. And the Foundation's like, what if we just tranquilize this kid and just take it with us? And now the kid, like, now the kid is having trust issues. Naturally, you were talking to that kid for so long, and then you decide to just let's just take him with us. Justified badge. I think it's just the contrast of like full on like, whatever I did was like, yeah, I'm in the right. It's all good because there's nothing wrong with what I did, even if it's like something horrendous, and then just taking it off and he's like, what have I done? Just like 180, like it's not even like a 180 that is like slow. It's like it's literally instant. It's as if like you saw somebody who being an arrogant asshole get slapped by somebody and then immediately stop being that forever. Universal dumping grounds, yes. I still feel bad for the homeless people that they didn't find those diamonds first before the Foundation did, but also like, there must be a lot of different wild stuff in that dumping ground because it's from different dimensions and from the world, and also just items that just get transformed into other things. It's just, yeah, must be wild. That dumping ground must be like, would be honestly, as a filmmaker, the amount of props you can find in that dumping ground would be pretty useful. The Phantom app, basically just simulacra. It's just like, your phone glitches out, it sends you weird text messages and pictures of you in locations that you weren't there. It's very simulacra. Very simulacra. But I like simulacra, so the Phantom app is actually, I also like that. I think it's a cool idea. But of course, it's like, since they're both the same, it's nothing new, but I do like it. involuntary shapeshifting. Yeah. I mean, the idea that you shapeshift into somebody else and it's like a skin layer above you, and you try to like escape that, and then you just at the a lot of things happening that you just don't want to happen to your body, just for you to end up being like all weak and on the ground, just like fortune cookie neighbor. Yeah, that one is just hilarious. It's just like, it seems to be a fortune cookie that just pretends to be like your neighbor, and whenever you do something, it just complains. It's like, hey man, there's a leak, hey, shut your dog up, and so on and so forth. The fact that it gave up, or that it stopped doing anything after it said like, I'll call the landlord, that it never like did anything else anymore, is kind of interesting. It's technically considered neutralized then, right? Numerology, ghost apartment. Yeah, this is, I think, if you understand the whole like meaning of numbers stuff, that as the ghost has said, you probably will enjoy this a lot more than I did. I liked it because I understand what the meaning of the 4 is in Mandarin. Like the Y number 4 is considered a bad luck number in Asian culture, Japan or in China. It's because it sounds too close to death, like the word death. So so they don't use it. But there's like a bunch of other numbers that probably have a cultural meaning that I don't know too much about. That's why I'm saying it. If you do know about it, you probably enjoy it more than I do. And the 5,000 dots, there's just a bunch of dots moving around, aren't they? Just forming formulas sometimes being random ass images, or just a wave of dots on the paper. Nothing that grand, to be honest. But yeah, we're at the end, guys. Whew, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. Once again, Honeybun, thank you so much for the raid. That is, I think this was one of the first time when somebody raided me and people were like saying like who the raider is, because like I had like Seabass raid me before, but I never got like the whole like army of people just saying who they are and where they came from. So that was pretty cool. That really made my day. Thank you so much, guys. That really was awesome. Other than that, yeah, like we finished SCP the 1330s. Next Saturday, I think I should be free next Saturday, right? Yeah, next Saturday we'll have the 1040s, and next Sunday we have the not 1040s, 1340s, and next Sunday we have the 1350s to read through. I gotta now make a bunch of videos out of these for YouTube. Gotta make a bunch of thumbnails. Not now, tomorrow after my run. So, but other than that, again, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you all enjoyed the stream, even if it was only the last like 20 to 30 minutes. I wish you all good morning, afternoon, evening. You all just have a good day, okay? All right? Enjoy your day. The Afro is with you.